Hello guys, it is me again, and I am back with another video. As usual, for these last couple videos, I am continuing the work on this commission, and I am glad to say that I'm making good progress on the commission. I'm nearly completed with coloring the bear, and after that I will move on to doing the background, and then it will be complete and I will be able to ship it to my client. I'm really looking forward to completing this commission because it would be a load off of my shoulders. Well, with all that I've got on my plate at the moment, such as homework, my own personal self-appointed projects, and chores as per usual. Yeah, mainly I just want to get this project out of the way so that I don't have this commission out of the way, so that I don't have an obligation to another person anymore, and I can focus all my attention on schoolwork and my own personal project, which is the current one, the personifications and redraws of the websites that I had designed like a year or two ago. So while I was editing this video, I was trying to think, what do I want to talk about? Like, the funny thing is that it may seem very easy to talk to the camera, and especially if you aren't going off of a script, it actually is a little hard to think of interesting topics. Even though I have no script whatsoever, like the closest I do come to a script is suggested topics, which I was trying to rack my brains for as I was waiting for this video to fully export so that I could edit it. And so I was trying to think, what do I want to talk about? What would interest my viewers? That would actually not bore them to death as I rambled on, as per usual. And so I was trying to think about it, and I kept coming across the topic of like grotesque art, specifically because of the piece I've been working on these last few videos. And so I was trying to expand upon that topic and decided perhaps I should try telling you guys why exactly I do like drawing grotesque art. So, as is obvious, I do have somewhat of a preference of drawing really, really detailed, gory artwork. This video being an example, and the last 2 or 3 videos before this one being a good example. And I've got plenty more art posted on my other social media and some of those pieces are grotesque. And so if you are interested, you can check them out, because this isn't the only piece I've made that is horrifically detailed in its gore. But these last few years, especially when I first got into high school, I've had somewhat of a preference in creating very brutal looking artwork. And when I initially started working on pieces, I think I remember one of my first pieces where I actually went into, or at least tried to, go into extreme detail of, I like this chick with half her face missing. And I had showed it to my mom at the time, and all she could say was, "Wow, that is creepy." Yeah, nothing else. Didn't expect her to, like, be all into the gory artwork, since my mom in particular, does not like horror movies even. She would rather stay away from them as far as she can. And that's generally the case with anyone within my family, or even strangers that aren't quite expecting that sort of artwork from me. And I end up showing them one of my more detailed and realistic pieces that are grotesque, and usually their reaction is something akin to how my mom reacted when I first started making this gory artwork. Kind of funny in how awkward it is and how shocked they are. But for a while, I've just been very fascinated with gory details, even though I don't even like watching horror movies that are super graphic. I have not even watched the Saw movies yet because I've heard of how disgustingly grotesque they are. And that is just not for me. I do not enjoy gore for the sake of being gross and just straight up disgusting and shocking. I mean, that may be hard to believe looking at some of my artwork. But with the way that I like using it, I just like to, sometimes I do make horrific art pieces for the heck of it, though I doubt it's anywhere near the level of graphicness that is the Saw movies, the Saw franchise. But there are times when I do draw gory artwork, like this one, where there isn't really a specified purpose. My client really just told me to make it look cool, and this is the best I can do in making something look cool. Especially when the purpose of this piece is to later on be hung up in a man cave. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. I am sick, so that's why my voice is cracking more than usual. Anyways, but usually I don't just like drawing blood and guts for no reason. I mean, yeah, it's good practice if you're doing a figure study and you're trying to get better at drawing more realistically when it comes to entrails. But with most of my pieces that do involve any body horror, body gore, they tend to have some sort of underlying meaning behind them. There was this one picture that I made during the summer of 2017, and it had a girl's head, a close-up. It was just a close-up of a girl's head, and part of her face was decaying, and from her right eye socket was spewing forth maggots in the piece that I made. And as I describe it, it sounds really, really gross and awful. But that piece did have an underlying meaning behind it. Sort of like your issues, especially when it comes to mental issues that you struggle with on a daily basis, just eating away at you from the inside out. And if you're someone who does struggle with any form of mental illness or even just a disorder that alters the way you think, sometimes it can feel that way, like you're being eaten, like your brain is being eaten from the inside out. And it can be really difficult to cope with some days, because mental health isn't always consistent on a day-to-day basis, and it's unfortunate that that's the case. But it is how it is, and the best we can do is learn how to cope with the ups and downs of our health, our mental health. And so that piece did have that meaning of feeling like you're just rotting from the inside out. Just trying to struggle to maintain appearances. And I've always oddly found really horrific imagery rather beautiful, rather intriguing. I am not very fond of super pretty looking model-like pictures. I do appreciate aesthetically pleasing pictures, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see the point in making everything absolutely beautiful and perfect without flaw. Just doesn't appeal to me. I prefer seeing the graphically gory, darker aspects of artwork of the human experience. It just fascinates me, and I find it a lot more breathtaking and beautiful than photogenic models. Does anyone else feel like that? But anyways, that's all the time I do have to talk for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles. Oh god, no.